This whole thing about the false positives, which is very, very poorly understood, is critical. People are unaware of just how big a problem the PCR false positive rate is. Because look, let's try and get a little bit of simple maths over here, but I try and do it
Sure.
with, as easy as possible, because this is so crucial and people generally don't understand it. Let's suppose the false positive is the probability that an uninfected person will test positive. Now, that rate is actually pretty low. Let's suppose, for example, it's just 1%. So only 1% of uninfected people are going to test positive. But the question is, what is the probability that a person testing positive is uninfected? Now, most people assume that must be the same. That must be 1% or something similar, but it's not, because it all depends on the underlying population infection rate. So suppose the infection rate is 1 in 1,000. Then if you test 10,000 people randomly, then you know that about 10 genuinely infected. They had the virus. So let's assume they all test positive. But out of that 10,000 people, you've taken away 10, but you've still got just under 10,000 who are uninfected because you've taken out the infected ones. So 10 out of just under 10,000 people who are uninfected, if you've got a 1% false positive rate, then about 100 of those are going to wrongly test positive. So you've now got 110 people testing positive, of whom only 10 are actually infected. So that means there's a greater than 90% chance that a person testing positive is uninfected. So that it doesn't matter that they've got a low false positive rate. The fact is, most people who test positive are going to be uninfected, especially asymptomatic people. And this is borne out in practice, incidentally, because we looked at the study. There was a big study in Cambridge University of asymptomatics at a time when the false positive rate was really low. It's actually less than 0.5%. But actually, almost all of those who tested positive, when they did confirmatory testing, turned out to be false positives. They never had symptoms. They never went on to get symptoms. And this isn't the only trick, right? So the other thing